All right, y'all, what's up? You're watching DaveTV. We are live in East Austin, so thanks for tuning in. If you're just tuning in today, it's been an amazing day. Flying Balalaika Brothers started us off, and One Good Lung and Steamroller, and Vallejo had to jet. We're going to get them on another time. They had another very important gig to get to.
Steamroller has those guys. It was so beautiful for me. It's like we were brothers.
Yeah, man.
The Steamboat days, and
I
it
forgot
was just
what
kind of
night.
like I'd seen them in 15 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Those residencies Danny's did.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Just made my day.
Old friend Will Sexton, y'all, right here. So thank you for making this part of your South by. You doing other stuff, man? What are you doing out there?
Well, we're just now. I'm married to a beautiful woman named Amy Levere, and so we will be playing tomorrow at the Continental Club.
Oh, cool.
And we're going to do that. And then my brother and I, we have a side project called the Mystic Knights of the Sea. So we'll play shortly after that. But we actually came to do Luther Dickinson, who's the singer guitar player from the North Mississippi All Stars. And so we back him up. And so we've been touring for, this is like our third week kind of in on the tour.
Nice, man.
It's been fun, yeah.
Man, I remember many nights, Mystic Knights of the Sea. That's crazy. God, the jam sessions, dude. Good stuff.
It's going to be good.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. So I was talking to Will before we went on about like how far back and stuff, you know, when I first started seeing bands in Austin when it's been at least 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, I was just saying the same thing was if I were to die tomorrow, and if anyone gave a shit, if you wanted to see some actual footage, he has more footage than any. You know, we're pushing on 30 years.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, God, I don't even know where to start, but I'll start with The Kill, because I followed The Kill around like a lost puppy dog, man.
Yeah.
Y'all were bad to the bone. What's the background on The Kill? Because I know there's some changes. You got the record deal. You did all the things a rock and roll star want to do. And how old were you then?
Well, I recorded the record when I was 16. Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, and it was strange for me because it's like I don't really like people that much to be around. So it was like it was a changer. It was like the dynamic of I ended up turning into being a songwriter and getting a staff writing job and kind of did that, and I was more comfortable. You know? That's always been the joke that like sitting there playing, it's like, what's everyone looking at? Yeah, you're a performer. You're so, you know.
Dance monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they made I shouldn't say it like that, maybe I'm wrong, but the hit was Rocks in My Pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it your choice, their choice? How did that happen?
Well, the one that was the song that made the video and it with Penelope Spears.
It was awesome.
Yeah, from The Decline. It was Hard as Steel. Was that particular thing? So it kind of went in a bunch of different directions. It was like that was it was just fun. It was, it's great when you're. I mean, the one thing that was kind of sad when I look back at it, it's like if I would have been in the same garage band. See, the Kill was not a garage band. My band before that was Will and his Cannonballs. And that was a garage band.
Yeah,
and it was
great.
like, if I would have just been in that garage band, I probably would own the garage market, maybe.
There you go, right,
or
right.
at least a very small piece of it.
That niche, that little niche, man, it's all mine. That's great.
It's wild because my brother and I, like for me, it's like I write songs, I perform, and I produce records. So it's just kind of like, so when you get into certain areas, I get bored of all of those things. You know, so you just kind of keep throwing you in a different angle and like kind of have the beauty because music is the thing that we love.
Yeah,
so it's just like let's just put us in different
challenges, right?
Yeah, different challenges, and I think that a lot of the people that I truly love, it's like I coming from Austin, it was like it was such a cosmopolitan place. You know, it's like for us. I mean, it's like even though there was not a lot of people there back when we started doing this stuff, but it's still because of the university. It was like it was so cultured in a certain kind of way, and it's like when we've always played country music, we've always played blues, we've done all this other stuff, and there's something that you really respect about people that are like they live in this rural place. Like a perfect example, Del Watson.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Absolutely.
it's like Del Watson is the fucking bomb.
Hell yeah.
But he didn't come from. He wasn't born in Austin because you couldn't do that.
No, you couldn't.
If you
man.
didn't come from that one little
It's
country place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything's accepted here, which is beautiful.
Yeah, a lot of.
I think that there's a lot of expectations based on what's made it out of here that, in my opinion, are far from what's really going on.
Yeah.
Like once you're out in the cut and you're seeing bands, you know what's really going on out there, and it's not, with no disrespect whatsoever, it's not Stevie Ray, it's not Gary Clark Jr., you know, it's part of it.
Yeah.
But there's such a bigger picture, man. And I know I've seen you play with a lot of amazing cats, and like you said, now you're backing up North Mississippi All-Stars guy. All of these things, man, did you ever, like you just play for passion, did you ever go, this is what I want to do?
Well, it's a weird thing too. It's like at a certain point, I felt like writing and it was a struggle with ego, like as being a kid, because now at one point I you know, I try to help and teach kids and like with music or what have you in different avenues, but it's just kind of like the young kids. It's like I really don't like that age. From like 18 to 22, it's
They like it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just kind of like I don't really particularly care for that.
They know a lot. You haven't.
Yeah, they do.
They'll let
yeah.
you know.
They'll let you know. Yeah, and so I think it kind of came from that same type place for me, because I think I was that asshole.
Oh no, not you.
Yeah.
Oh man, and you know, time moves forward. What would be the fairest thing, just to get out of that? What would be the fair thing to say happened with the kill? What was the end? The kill of the kill.
Well, I mean, it slowly turned into a solo project, and then when I moved back from Los Angeles into Austin, a bunch of people kind of started doing this Americana thing, and it was like it didn't exist. So it's like we all kind of had been working more in that Americana thing.
Absolutely.
So it was like, yeah.
That's cool. And so that,
Kill rock a lot harder though.
dude, and that was so many fun times, man. I hate to say it because, you know, being out of Austin, but I remember San Marcos gigs were the best.
Yeah.
That's where I had all my fun, man.
Good.
But yeah, good times for sure. As far as the Americana thing, I remember seeing you play with Stephen Doster a lot at Steamboat.
Yeah.
That might have been not the very beginning of all that, but I think your feet were firmly on the ground at that point, and you kind of
Yeah, we've been doing that. When the crazy thing is, like, when you look at one of the greatest Americana artists is Bob Schneider from here, and he came into that world from his crazy rock thing.
The absolutely crazy rock thing, man.
Yeah, and he would always come and play with us on Sundays. And, and I love Bob. Bob's so great. Someone was saying at one point, like, it was strange that he would dominate a certain area of music, and it was like, but he comes from this other thing, and it's like, you know, all these other people that have been doing music that's kind of more suited for that particular thing.
Sure.
Bob's a genius, and it's like, and the one thing that I remember is he would go into Steamboat, and he would set the set. He would do, I mean, he would get in as early as he possibly can, and he would do all the lights. He would do all of the artwork. He would set the, you know, it's like, that guy worked his ass off for so many years. And then all of a sudden, it was like going, oh, he's a overnight.
Yeah, right.
And it's like going, no, I actually remember him working his ass off for a long time.
I'm just glad I didn't have to clean up after some of those shows.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, he has a vision, man, and I think he's very lucky to be able to kind of go out there and do a handful of different things that are his passion.
Yeah.
And do well with them.
Yeah.
That's a good thing,
He's a good cat.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So these days, as you mentioned, you're touring with Amy, I guess. You've been touring. Are you touring right now? Is that kind of done and you're doing this other stuff?
Yeah, we are actually touring. We did the Luther Dickinson and the Cooperators. We just finished a 3-week tour that was mostly on the East Coast. And then next week, Amy and I go back to our duo thing, and we have a European tour for a couple months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Recording, how's that, like, is it indie? Like, what are you doing? I'm not aware, how you're getting it out there. Are you working with a label? Is it your own?
She's been on, her label's Archer Records, and it's like, she's been doing that for a while. Luther's on New West, so we've been doing that, and then we just did a record with a band called the Motel Mirrors, and
Cool.
and we just finished which is so beautiful in Memphis, because it's actually the closest thing to like an Austin band. Like it's just fun,
right on,
easy, rocking great things,
Yeah,
and so we just actually finished a record. But we're kind of shopping it to see where we're going to put that out.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this. In this day of digital media and, who is buying albums, CDs, cassettes even,
Yeah.
where's the market? Is that what you're going for? Kind of like, what's your take on getting the music to the people at this point?
It's basically my wife. I mean, she sells a hell of a lot. I mean, she doesn't ever want to go to the merch table, But if she does, we're well off that particular night.
Great.
I mean, she's an ingratiating.
So it shows.
Woman. I mean, it's like she's an amazing person.
Awesome.
It reminds me a lot of the fact that with Alejandro Escovedo, like when people were asking about certain artists in Austin who have been touring, it's like, well, why is it Alejandro? Why is he doing well? Why is he doing better than whomever, just I'm not going to throw any other voices, but it's like, because he actually toured constantly, for 15 years, like just doing it. And also, that I think is the most important thing, which my wife has, like, in spades, is that she's she's fun to be around.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That vibe
so it's like
good.
you go, it's like you go and you play the places, and it's like we hang out and we visit and we have friends, and you kind of do that thing.
I don't want to put years on the man, but I'll say twice 15 years. I know Alejandro's been rank and file, I remember blowing through Sacramento as a kid and being in a record store, and Rank and File was doing an in-store, and I was like, who's this Rank and File? Oh, it's this guy from Austin and these guys from California. I was like, Austin?
Well, the crazy thing is his whole thing came from San Francisco. He was in art school. He was a art major, I believe, and then ended up doing a punk band kind of as an art piece, and then it was like in the late 70s, it was the right time to do, just kind of like he became the Nuns. It was like it was one of the best punk bands of all time.
You played with Sex Pistols, man. That's crazy. So what's your you put something on today? You put on music. What are you listening to? What do you dig?
Oh, jeez.
I know it's a tough one, I just like, it's rare that I do, because I don't know, man. You hear so many people. I find it very challenging to put on a CD anymore. I don't know if I'm part of the problem or part of the fix, but I go see people live. I have to watch them play. That's where I hear my music.
And it's also a strange thing, because we can't, when we tour constantly, you have to be appropriate to. It's like you can't play music if there's 5 or 6 people. In it's like you can't do that.
Yeah, man.
It's like
pretty wild, huh?
Chances are 2 of those people don't want to have to listen to that. but yeah, I think we listen to a lot of African
Cool.
music. It's just kind of, you know,
Awesome.
the super early kind of the where the blues comes and a lot of
yeah,
those kind of
man.
things. And it's just kind of like, it's nice too. And I have also appreciate just for to being able to quiet your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Having something that doesn't have lyrics that you can understand. It's like,
And with writing, some people get away from music altogether when they're writing because they don't want to be influenced?
yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
got to be a challenge. So that guitar, man, you have a guitar.
Yeah, well, this guitar is one that I stole from my brother. Geez, like 89, I think.
Damn.
It's a Everly Brothers J180. There's only 100 of this model, and I love it.
Yeah, man.
But one of the crazy steamboat days, I have so many stories about this guitar. One is I don't remember how I got back. I lived in Bee Caves, so kind of in the offskirtings of this area, and I had this guitar. I was hitchhiking, and I left it when the person dropped me off. You know, I might have been a little highed up. I don't remember, something crazy back in the time. And,
Read about that.
And then when I woke up in the morning, there was a knock on the door, and the guy was like, "Oh, you left your guitar." You know, it's like going, "Wow, that's insanely generous and sweet. And this is great," because the guy didn't even live around Austin, and he took a 30-minute drive back to give it to me. And then I think it was like maybe 6 months later, I was playing in Green Hall, and for whatever reason, it was like I was exhausted. I played the gig, I drove there, and I was worried about getting home because I was falling asleep.
Yeah,
I was like so tired. So it's like 2:30 in the morning or whatever. So I pull into the driveway, and I used to live on Bee Caves. I lived in this one area that was like, it was an incline, so it was a driveway. So I pulled in there, open the door, spill out, and go to the couch. Didn't say hi to anybody in the family. And it was just like kind of like just do the couch, just fall asleep. I'm like, God, I made it. The next morning, someone comes over, and it had rained profusely. And because it was cocked up like that, it held all this water, and the guitar was bobbing on the top. And so brings me the guitar back, and I'm like going, shit. I was like, and it was, I think it was Friday late, like kind of going, it was like, I don't know what to do with, it's like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And the first choice I made was like, okay, well, let me just kind of acclimatize, like, don't take the tension off the neck, just like keep everything the way it is, and just kind of put it in the bedroom and let it just like slowly get back to itself, and then start doing something else. And then it was like 3 days later, it's Friday, and I'm doing my early steamboat gig. I was like, oh shit, I got a gig.
Right. That's great.
So I just go and grab it. It's like, it's either going to work or it's not, you know. And it's like, I didn't even change the battery. And it was just like, it was just like, we're on. Yeah.
Damn, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's luck.
Gibson.
That's Gibson for you, absolutely.
season.
You know any songs on that? You know any song?
Do I have to play?
I'd like to play. I'd like to hear a song.
Okay.
What do you feel like? I should just go you have to play.
Okay.
That would be the better answer, wouldn't it?
I'd rather talk about Bill Hicks personally.
We'll get there. I'll put this right after this. How about that? I have a perfect second.
The Statue of Freedom is built in Rome. It's a little late for loving me now. All temptations never to soul. It's a little late for never to now. It's a routine inspection, no cause for alarm. It's a little late for loving me now. Some situations a maiden not born. It's a little late for loving me now. Little late for loving me like a common decency has built the walls of keeping you out. I don't believe the way you see, and keep your hands where I can see them. Don't you change everything around. It's a little late for loving me down.
Thinking you were pissed off at somebody. Good job, man. Yeah, I'm thinking that's got some emotions behind it in there somewhere, huh? Special stories, yeah. Good deal. You find a lot coming from real life, you know, as a songwriter, not for your own self, you know. I don't want to say it's, you know, product, but sometimes it's product. So you're right, I'm sure. Does it all come from real stuff? You kind of, where do you find your line there?
Yeah, it actually never comes from reality. The weird thing that happened for me is when I was a staff writer, I would be given a job and I would like write a song for somebody or do what you know, they would tell me, you know, for a movie or whatever it is. And so I would basically write a song and it's like, it's not a part of me. It's like, this is something else. It's my other job, which the irony is it twists back. It's like when I look back at it, it's like that's the most truthful songs because you're unarmed. Because you're actually just trying to write something that's not about you. So then it ends up being more about you.
That's wild.
You know?
So you mentioned Bob kind of made the songwriter game famous. You ever take part in all of that? Where they have like the guys and you get a theme or a word and you...
Yeah, we did some stuff like that back then. It's like, to me, it's like it's all work. I mean, it's like
yeah, man.
I mean, my first publishing deal, I was 15, and
how wild.
And I'm 45, and it was like, I mean, the weird thing that happened for me was like, I realized I was obsessed with playing Scrabble.
Ah, right on.
And then it was like at that one point to where it's like, no, that hits the exact same part of your brain.
Yeah.
Trying to write songs. It's like, that's not fun.
That is exactly the same. You're right, like, man. That's crazy.
It's just kind of like, try to find that one thing that you fit in there. You know?
Yeah. I know Steve Poltz had some amazing takes on it where he tried to just basically fuck everybody up when he was writing them and like twist the game.
I came this close to wearing my Poltzo for Prez
I love
hat.
Poltz, man. What
He's
a guy.
The best.
Oh,
He's
God.
The best.
We're lucky to have a guy like that that's as honest and real as him, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a time where your health took you out of the picture. And
I mean, the song that I just played kind of took me out of the picture too. But that's why I was trying to hide behind my wife, because it's frustrating because when I was young, I knew every Beatles song, I knew every Stones song, I knew a gazillion songs. I've written hundreds of songs, and I had all those things that I could actually play at any point. Well, at this point, it's like I like know kind of 15 songs that I could kind of play, you know.
It's weird. A door shuts or whatever.
Yeah,
huh? Yeah.
And it was also hard too because if I can only do one thing at a time, so I can have a conversation, or I can play music. And then I tried to play music, and it was like kind of a little iffy.
Makes those radio gigs weird, I'm sure. Yeah, man. I don't know, your body and mind. I mean, whether it's health or you know, a very traumatic experience in life, the brain is like, oh, fuck it, you're losing that, man.
Yeah. But so far, my life is really blessed.
Yeah.
I'm just not a very good performer.
I don't know about
these
all
days.
that.
Yeah.
I think you do just fine, man. So I'm glad you're doing it. That's what I say. I'm really happy to see that you're motivated enough to still be doing all this crazy stuff out in front of people after everything that's gone down, you know. And we've lost a lot of friends that we've both known. I'm sure you more and me more that we don't know. And whether it's natural causes or, you know, the rock and roll lifestyle or whatever, you know.
The government gives you a cancer
That's
stab.
exactly. So that's kind of my say, you know, I want to talk about Bill, but also, you know, there's Ham and Sims, which I know we all have friends that have benefited and all of that. You know, have you had experiences with them? Anything you want to share?
Well, the crazy thing that happened for me is that first off, I was hospitalized twice, and the second time they found everything wrong with me. The first time, which was even a worse bout than the second one, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me. And so I was very, I didn't want to go back. I was like, my brother just basically drags me. It's like, you know, you're not going to go into the waiting, we're going to put you in this room, the specialist is going to look you up. And I was like, well, that's cool, but the one thing is I won't put the slippers on. The minute the slippers on, it's like, if you put the slippers on, it's going to take 2 days to get out of the hospital.
No doubt.
You know, it's just like kind of like, I don't want to put in, I'm not going to get, you know.
More tests.
Yeah. But anyway, then they found like 4 different things that were wrong with me, the blood disease and many, many different things. But it was strange because it was Susan Antone. It was like a dear friend of mine who was passing away at the hospital as well. A gentleman who was a mutual friend of the Antones family, and he passed away that night. And it was like, I don't know who exactly did it, but it was like through the Susan thing, it was like someone came up and was like, you'll never see a Bill.
That's wild.
Ever. And it's like, it was like, I was in the hospital for, you know, a strong week, like dealing with post-stroke stuff. And it was beautiful.
I'm sure it's 30, 40 bucks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Damn. Well, I'm glad you're here, and it is what it is. That's for sure. So, Bill didn't let on he was ill to maybe more than 1 or 2 people, and he, our mutual friend Kevin Booth, had hit me up the week before he came on the show, when we had 4 hours every week instead of once a year or something.
Kind of a badass.
Oh, dude, that guy. What hasn't he done?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not close to him. I'm just a fan.
Oh, he's a great guy, man. But so he's like, hey, you know, Bill wants to come out. He's doing stand-up that weekend, and he wants to, you know, talk about the show. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And we didn't really talk much about it. And I thought maybe he'd come in and do like a piece, or maybe him and Kevin would talk briefly and promote the gig, and that would be that. And he walked in and was like, hey, you know, I used to see him here all the time, so we'd hang out. I never knew at the time of the interview that Bill Hicks was Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew he did stand-up, but he was Kevin's wacky dude friend that did video, you know, and they were hung out, and we would read Bible stories at the picnic table out here. So he comes in, he's like, I have this Waco footage I want to play where the turret's coming out and the fires, and they said there's no fire. And I'm like, oh yeah, rad, let's do that. And he's like, you know, who's doing the interview? And I was like, interview? I didn't know we were going to do an interview, but what are we going to talk about? And you know, he's like, well, we can talk about my, like, what was it, 12 Letterman appearances. And I was like, right. He's like, no, yeah, really. I was like, oh. And I was like, what else? Oh, we could talk about my HBO special that when we played in Europe on one of their 3 channels. I was like, yeah, right. Yeah. I was like, oh, okay, so catch me up. And so I got Bill Hicks 101 like on the spot from Bill. And we came out here and did what everyone has seen, you know, and we just chatted comfortably like we're doing right here. Didn't know a thing, you know, and of course I'm like, how's smoking, Bill? And he's, you know, pulls out the cigarettes, he's like the hair, and he's got all the comments you see in the clip.
Well, it's funny because, you know, I'm on the Arizona Bay.
Yeah.
in that thing, because it's like I went to go see him,
Yeah.
and it was like with Steven Doster, it was like Steven was his good buddy. I was around Bill when I was a baby,
Yeah.
and it was like I saw one show that was like. Actually, I've seen a handful of his shows, but the very first show, I was probably maybe 17 years old, and I went across the street from Steamboat to see his show, and Sam Kinison was in tow,
Yeah.
and Bill told like maybe 3 jokes, then Sam like kind of took over, and then the whole place turned into like this debauched. I mean, it was like
Sam had a certain je ne sais
it was,
quoi.
it was crazy. The whole show was. It was like, it's not probably like the was it the Comedy Shop? Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
Right over there on 6th Street.
Absolutely.
And it was a total family type. It's like it's very different than a lot of the comedic things. It's like that's like people that actually buy seasons, and it's like it's real easy, you know. And Bill Hicks and Sam were not they weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a different.
They closed it down pretty quick.
Yeah. That's a fun experience. You know, we did our thing. I saw him there. You know, he drove to Florida, did a couple more stand-up shows, and then went home and died. You know, and never knew, man. But it's one of those things where I don't know, man. I got a weird thing because of all the people we've lost, whether it was my family or friends and acquaintances. Funerals, man. If I can't say everything I want to say to someone right now, I'm not going to say it at their funeral. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
an
exactly.
ending,
I have the
don't
same
know.
feeling.
You know, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I feel like the things that Bill gave us, like, go on forever. Like, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about Bill Hicks. You know, it fits life. You ever felt your family would be brought together with David Koresh and a Bill Hicks joke?
Yeah.
How was that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And his life is his storylines, the way that he played certain scenarios, like whenever he's hanging out with his friends and so on and so forth, it's like that's the funniest stuff ever.
Man.
And it's just kind of like, and it's kind of nice that no one's really regurgitated that particular side, you know, because it's like he was. He had a lot of comedy in him that people will never have heard. You know? Yeah.
There's a lot of hacks that try to, you know, blatantly
Yeah.
take that, and it's just embarrassing in my opinion when you see that. So, but Ninja Bachelor Party, huh?
Yeah.
That's great stuff. That's awesome. So what's ahead for you? You're going out on tour? Are you producing anybody? What's the future?
Well, we have a band called the Motel Mirrors, my wife and I, and a guy named John Paul Keith, and so we just finished a record. My wife Amy live here. We're going on tour for 2 months.
Yeah.
Next week, and
you said Europe?
yeah,
You're
we're
going
doing-
to Europe? That's
yeah.
crazy, huh?
So we've been doing a lot of that crazy stuff, but it's easy. It's just like it's such a wonderful thing, you know, that you find that one person that's kind of like, yeah, this works.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're gonna be come and see us before we're like really old and haggard, because we're still kind of pretty and young.
Right. Man, you lucked out with more hair than me. I don't know how that happened, man. But, well, that's great, man. I appreciate you doing the show. And, man, I probably could go on forever. I know we have Relative Circle in the house that's going to play tonight, so I keep
Good.
watching my watch. Man,
I love you, sir.
I love you, Will
Thank you.
Sexton. Thank you, man. Thanks for doing Dave TV, and we'll see you around sometime, I'm
Perfect.
sure. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Y'all are watching Dave TV. Thanks for tuning in, and we have one more band left today. If you've watched the whole thing, God dang, man, I love you, each one of you individually. If you're watching the rerun, well, thanks anyway. That's great. Relative Circle's coming up. Jay's got the beautiful bean footage to roll, and it's been a pleasure, Will.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you soon. Take care, guys.